Guys, what is up? We're here. It's your boy Ben, and today, I kind of walked around my garden and looked around and tried to find some inspiration for making some fake mon. Now, if you don't know what fake mon is, that's perfectly fine. Basically, like fake Pokemon, hence the name. I kind of want to make my own region, and in order to do that, I'm gonna need Pokemon for it. So I looked around my garden and tried to find some inspiration for a Pokemon. When I first started, instantly what caught my eye was this yellow ball with a smiley face. What I found really interesting about this yellow ball was that if you stepped on it, it would just inflate back into its normal form. Maybe I could make a flying type of balloon-like Pokemon that was extremely resistant, giving it also a steel type. And if you were to touch it, or poke it, or penetrate it in any way, it would instantly regenerate back to its normal form. There's also a lot of random items like rakes or just like blankets or whatever that I didn't really know what to make a Pokemon out of. However, I did find one of these old pool toys that I had. It was this frog with yellow spots and big eyes. Now, something that I find really interesting about this frog is that it's very old, so there's dirt on it, and it also has a baby frog on its back, which I really didn't notice at first. But there's also a lot of dirt on it, so what if I made a Pokemon that had rocks and mud on it, and like as a pre-evolution was the baby, and the evolved version was the frog here, but with the baby on its back? Honestly, the frog, rock, ground, whatever idea is what I think I'm gonna go with. There was too much random stuff I saw, and really the balloon and the frog idea were the only solid ideas. And I feel like the balloon idea is a little too out of the ordinary. Maybe in some point in the future I'll end up reconsidering it. But for now, I'm gonna make two evolutions, the baby frog and the adult frog. Now, since I already made the adult frog, I can already save this. I'm pretty happy with this final edition. I may just add up some more touches and shading, but for now I'm pretty happy with it, especially since all I used was Photoshop. I like the big eyes it has and the tiny little rocks. I feel pretty happy with the shading. I changed the yellow dots to lightish yellow, greenish dots, and the baby I added a tail like some adolescent frogs do have, and I made it have a more like shocked face, while the adult has more of a smug face, if you will. All I have to do is create this into a Pokemon. Initially, I tried to make a body type that was bipedal and very human-like, with 2 toes, a really long tail, and 3 little stubs at his fingers. But I didn't really think it fit. This looks more like a teenager. I'm trying to go for a baby. Nope. Now I changed my mind. I actually want this to be a 3-stage evolution. The small baby, a teenager, and then the adult. Here, I start to draw the adult. Okay, so normally when I draw Pokemon, it only takes me 3 minutes. I know, some people take hours, but for me, this was one of the longer and much harder Pokemon to draw, just because I spent a good 10 minutes just thinking about how I wanted it to look. Anyway, once I had a good idea in mind, I started to draw, like, the mud around. I didn't want to draw it as much as the adult had, and I kept going back and forth if I wanted a circle in the stomach. I decided for now, I think it would look better cleaner. I added some arms, and I decided to go with 2 fingers, and I wanted him to seem a little bit hunched back. The baby's going to be completely straight, or maybe even sitting, but this is just showing that he's starting to get into the frog position. I had really muddy hands that almost look like gloves, and I really like how it looks. It really adds to his design. I do the same to feet. I do the same to the tail and the top of the head. Make sure you use different shades of brown just to make sure it doesn't just look like I copied the same color. Although in the video you can barely see it. So I start to color in the little spots on his back. And now is my least favorite part, shading. I hate shading so much, mainly because I'm not very good at it. I decided to add a big circle on his belly. but just a darker shade of green with no outline. Add a smaller circle in the middle, but delete that later. Anyway, back to shading. I make a slightly darker color of green, and I color around some of the outlines where it would make sense. Thing is, I don't think you're supposed to do shading like this, but that's how I do it. Anyway, I just shade around the circle, kind of make it look a lot nicer, I would say. A lot more professional, I think. I try to use my smudge tool to smudge around and add my second layer of shading like I do normally. So it's not just one shaded color. But the smudge color was too similar to the normal color, and it just looked like the shading was too thick. So I decided to remove that and just go with one layer. And then started to add the little thicker pieces of mud in his feet, and I made the toes extra muddy so that it would show that, you know, he was really running in the ground, because this is a ground frog. Should be a toad, I don't know. I think that's too obvious. I added the stones in the feet, and I'm pretty proud of this. Oh, sorry, didn't notice you there. You see, while I was drawing my new baby Pokemon, I ran into an issue, and I'm trying to solve it, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, at this point, I'm just trying to sketch out the baby Pokemon and how it should look. I really am struggling, so I end up just grabbing the baby from the adult's version. Go ahead and pick that out of there, and pop, plop it right back into my area. I put it in the top right, just like True Green 7 does, because that's who inspired this entire idea, and then I run into an issue. I couldn't use any tools. Eventually, just by pressing Ctrl Z enough, I fixed it. However, my beautiful little edit out of the frog wasn't there. Don't worry guys, this isn't the issue yet. I kept spamming Ctrl Z, trying to figure out what was wrong, pressing different things, and eventually I just decided that I had to get rid of everything. So I did. And I could draw again. So I tried to take the frog back, paste it, and everything worked fine and dandy. So I just continued to draw the new version, and I still was struggling. I couldn't really find a good way to get him to look until I did. I was pretty happy with the silhouette. I drew the eyes. The right eye's kind of small, but I'll deal with it. And I did the dots. Made them too big or too small. Eventually I was happy. And then I just grabbed colors, filled it in to make it look like the baby. It was really hard to get the bucket into the hole, let me tell you that. Like, very difficult. After a couple attempts and much precision, I finally did it. Filled in the little gaps of my pen. Just any white gaps that were there that you couldn't even see with the camera. And then I was ready to color in the little dots in the back. And the eyes, I had to end up just drawing over completely one eye and then just re-adding the dot. And I added the belly to the adult. And here is my issue. I go back, add the belly, and I decide I'm ready to remove the baby version. I go to shade by moving him to the center, and it happens, wait for it, it happens again. I press, I try to move him back, didn't work. I spam Ctrl Z. Even though I removed the dot, I go back and undo everything, I still couldn't draw. I was trying to figure out everything, like just trying to figure out what is happening. I removed the belly dots, it still wasn't working. I just didn't know what to do. And frankly, I just decided to give up. A few moments later, I start messing around with the buttons and I figure out how to show my layers. And watch this, guys. You ready? Let me just get the belly. Shot on him. Shot on him like that. Actually, let me just go to the... Oh, I already have it there. Ready, guys? Grab him. The moment of truth. Yes! I can draw. Alright, problem solved, guys. Let's get back to drawing. Alright, this shouldn't be too hard. Now all I have to do is come up with a name. Now, tadpole in Japanese means Otama Jakushi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Which, I'm not going to name a Pokemon that, but what I did catch my eye is Jakushi. Frog in Japanese means, So a good Pokemon name would be... A really cool thing about the name Jakairu is also that in English it means then change or to change, which is quite fitting since this is literally a baby frog which is about to overcome a very big change. Introducing Jakairu, the baby frog Pokemon. His type is water. He has pretty sucky stats, but surprisingly impressive for such a low-level Pokemon. His ability is Torrent, which, when he's damaged, his water moves will be more powerful. Jakairu is a small, lovable baby frog. Typically, Jakairus will eat and travel in groups. They like to eat leaves, small insects, and algae at the surface of their water. There's a 75% chance for your Jakairu to be male, and a 25% chance that it is female. Here's the shiny, and here's the overall view. Now, coming up for a name for this angsty... Wait, I like the name Amphmeo for amphibian and emo. Introducing Aphmeo, the teen frog Pokemon. Its type, water ground. Its stats are looking better, and it has high attack and special attack, and good speed. Its defense has also been added a lot. Its ability is Torrent, and here's the shiny and normal. It evolves from Jakero at level 15. Notice that the shiny, instead of having mud, it has sand, which gives it the ability Sandy Armor, which when weakened, instead of boosting water attacks, fire attacks have no effect on it. So it's pretty useful. Aphmeos have started to create their armor and use rocks for extra attack in their damage, as well as the mud. Sadly, the males begin to fight, which is chaotic and can result in casualties. This is why there's only a 65% chance of your Aphmeo of being a male compared to the 75% that was before. So, yeah, here's the overview. Horog for this dude. Horog meaning Horu, which means dig in Japanese, and frog. Introducing Horog, the digging frog Pokemon. Type, water ground. Here's Horog. Oops, my mouse. Here's Horog, and here's the shiny. Again, the sand, and the baby tadpole. So cute. Here's his stats, really good stats. He evolves from Amphio at level 35. Horogs care for their babies and dig burrows for them. They have tough armor and strong claws. Ability, Torrent. Hidden ability, Tadpole. This, depending on how high the HP this Pokemon has, the more damage buff it'll have. At max HP, it'll just do twice the damage. Half HP, do like 1.5. And then very low health, normal damage. Something like that, you know? Every fourth health. 1/4 being it does normal amount. 2/4 being it does like 1.5. 3/4 1.75 times. And full health, twice the damage. So, pretty good ability. Shiny ability is still Sandy Armor. But it can also have Tadpole. And there's a 60% male and 40% female. And yeah, here's the overview. I'm really happy with this line. If you guys did enjoy, please smash the subscribe button and like the video. Oops. For more videos like this. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!